Dear human, dear soul, I welcome you to my podcast series, Messages from Beyond. Since a near-death experience, I have had the gift of communicating with the subtle levels of the cosmos in a form of deep meditation in which I ask certain beings from the other world to communicate with me. As one of the first contacts to the afterlife, my old friend and teacher, friend of the Indians, showed himself to me. And it is now a great pleasure for me to introduce you to the conversations here as a supplement to the books. Please excuse me if the terms and our articulations are not perfect. Our mother tongue is German, but we try to translate it to the best of our ability. Thank you for understanding. Dear friend of the Indians, please talk to me about the subject of free will. What would you like to write about this?
A lot. Free will is reaction and action at the same time, because it starts with a reaction to certain events and then simultaneously creates new actions.
Can you explain this in simpler words? How important free will is for the cosmos in general?
Free will is the highest power of the soul. It is both challenge and responsibility, because every soul has free will and is therefore responsible for its own destiny. The path that humans walk is a succession of free choices, and when they are especially well connected, they follow the impulses of the cosmos in doing so. When they are not directly, clearly, and purely connected with the cosmos, they will follow their spiritual impulses with their ego. Of course, individual perception is a many-faceted thing. While one person may be able to accept the love that is behind a simple touch, this may not be enough for another. It is therefore not my task to judge the quality of the connection. I merely wish to point out that free will is a power that works independently of the degree to which a person is connected. Free will, sometimes exercised more and sometimes less, is the living permission of the cosmos to transform in eternity. This responsibility carries with it some very specific difficulties. What I mean to say by this is that it is a very subtle and vitally important issue to fully accept the power of free will. If you think that you cannot exercise free will, you have been blinded by the forms and the structures that surround you. If you realize that you yourself have chosen this form and therefore can also change it yourself, you leave behind the perception of impotence.
I understand. You mean to say that the people who think that they cannot use free will have in fact made this decision, namely to surrender to certain systems that make decisions for them. So their first step into dependency was their own free choice, right?
Yes.
I understand.
Sometimes you can put this into words much better than I can. It is difficult for me to find the right words because it was such a long time ago that I was last a human being. Therefore, I thank you for putting it into words so easily.
Please tell me, isn't free will a power inherent in all types of energy of the cosmos?
This is not quite correct, because all energies would mean that even the trees and the plants have free will. But that is not the case. They are tightly bound by the flow of the laws of nature. They are not individual energies that can freely react to certain impulses. They are part of a larger system.
Okay, so what does it boil down to? Which energies of the cosmos have the free will?
The soul.
Ah, and because sometimes souls enter into animals, certain animals also have free will, right?
That is right, dear. But not all animals carry the same energy, nor do they all have a soul. But more about that later. Animals live a special kind of free will, even regardless of other exceptional circumstances. They are beings that live free will. If you put animals in cages, you take this power away from them. This is a sort of power exercised by people of very low consciousness.
Well, but there are different reasons for putting animals into cages on the planet. But we agree that none of these are justified, right?
Yes. The freedom of the soul is the highest treasure. Free will can only exist when the soul is free. So please do take note that one thing depends on the other. Freedom of the soul means that you have regained the full power of free will to its fullest extent. The life force is an infinitely strong and loving energy that can only thrive in freedom. Free will follows freedom, then the soul is healthy.
Please help me here. There are many people who feel powerless in the circumstances they live in. For instance, there are financial restrictions that do not allow you to freely choose to leave your home or to lead a different life. So many people lead a life in captivity and they have not freely chosen this, at least not in the way that you have just described. What would you like to tell those people?
That it is our decisions that lead us to our destiny. Those people still do have the opportunity to change the circumstances of their life. Even when this seems life-threatening to them, it would be the right step to take into freedom. The soul wants to be free, as we have learned.
So you are saying that the people should put the freedom of their soul above all else that happens to them, and as they do this, they will follow the true impulses of their soul and live this free will?
Yes.
Is there something that you should bear in mind as you live this free will? Is there a kind of rule?
There is no rule, because free will lives in human beings and in animals without any restrictions. This question is self-contradictory.
That is true.
You cannot have rules for something that is free.
Okay. Would you like to say something else regarding free will?
The people should no longer let themselves be ruled by the fear and of their own evolvement. Do not choose lack of freedom just because it offers security. This security is a lie created by the world of matter. It will not liberate you.
Well, there are many people who haven't got a lot of energy and therefore prefer to relinquish their freedom. You are saying that these people are lying to themselves?
That is correct. As long as these people are not yet embracing the feeling of freedom. You have to make a distinction. There are some people who have freely chosen the life to live their freedom within the restrictions of a form. Here, it is correct to say that they live in a safe structure, but feel free.
I understand. Any form that works with fear and keeps the people inside of fear-based systems is not a form that supports freedom and therefore does not allow you to live your freedom. And any form that supports freedom and free will is a healthy form.
Yes.
So you do not mean to condemn the structures of human societies right out. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay, I understand that. And it is a beautiful and very important distinction. Would you like to say something else?
That whosoever walks the path of freedom will consider free will the most beautiful and precious gift of the cosmos on this path. This gift is meant to help you to develop the power within you at every step.
Would you like to say something else? Which part of the cosmic alphabet would you like to talk about next?
Love.
Thank you. Love.
Thank you. Love.